walked out of a movie in a theater after you paid money for it? I was reading this poll, and about 50% of people have done it. I've done it once. It was for the Incredible Hulk before it got all Marvel-y and got pretty good. Like I think Eric Bana was the Incredible Hulk. It was terrible. And so I was like, I'm done. I think maybe I walked out of Weekend at Bernie's too, but I was way younger then. I don't remember clearly, so I can't commit to that. Ever walked out of a movie in a theater, Amy?
Yes. I can't remember what it was, but you liked it.
It was the movie about the District
9.
69 or something.
I don't think that's what it's called.
What?
What was it, guys? Because I
District
walked out
21?
and you're like, oh, I love that movie.
I loved it. Yeah, what was it called, Mike? District 9.
9.
It was like a kind of forward, science-y, robot-type movie.
You love that stuff.
I did love that. We're watching a show, we're on the final episode, called Three Body Problem on Netflix. Anybody watched any of it?
Nope.
We have one episode left. It was like their biggest show. It just came out. But it's future-y kind of. It's set today, but there's also... And it almost lost me. And then it got really good again. But for me to walk away from something like that, it's gotta be really tough. But I almost walked out of the house. It was so bad. No,
Where do you go?
But I'm back now. Lunchbox, ever walked out of a theater?
No. I almost walked out of Multiplicity, but I was with chicks, so they wanted to stay.
I never saw it.
It's terrible.
Anybody seen it?
No, that's old, huh?
Yeah, it was old, but I mean, it was that or Kingpin, and we were supposed to go see Kingpin,
That's funny.
and my boys bailed because the chicks picked Multiplicity, and they're like,
They must not like chicks, you know what I mean?
guys.
It's you with all the chicks. Eddie?
Yeah, I can't get myself to do that. Like, I'm too cheap.
Yeah,
like,
you paid the money.
I paid money, and I can't do it. Like, what was I was at Thor, I think, and they started the whole movie over after half of it was going already.
Oh, that would be miserable.
And so a lot of people walked out, and I'm like, I can't walk out. It'd be a waste of money.
They can't fast forward. No.
I don't know. But I would have thought, this is how I would have thought in my head. I've already paid for it regardless, so I don't want to pay for it and be miserable. So I'm not getting my money back.
Yeah.
A third of the way through. So I've already paid for it. Bad investment of my money and time. So I'm going to pay for it and then force myself to sit through it longer.
Yeah. I do that with food, too. Like, oh, this food's not very good, but I paid for it. I got to eat it.
Keep eating it?
Yep.
Mike D., your movie, Mike. How many movies do you think you've ever walked out of?
Probably 5 in my life, but 3 of them in the last 2 years.
Dang, you gotten snobbier since the podcast has blown up?
It's just like after 30 minutes, if I can't see a movie getting any better, it's not worth my time to stay there. I'm out. Especially when movies getting longer, too.
The movie's getting longer. It's terrible. In the last year, what'd you walk out of?
Amsterdam, it was like a murder mystery with a bunch of actors like Christian Bale. So boring. One of the worst movies I've ever seen in theaters. I'm like, I'm out.
Okay, what else?
I walked out of a movie called Babylon. It was about like Hollywood in the 1920s, but like the first scene is an elephant pooping on a bunch of people. And then they go to this party, just a bunch of naked dudes hanging out.
Whoa.
I'm like, I'm out of this.
Lunch would recommend that for us to watch.
Yeah, let's
watch
go check
that.
that out.
And then
There's a movie called Strays. It was like a movie where there's like real life dogs, but it's like Will Ferrell and Jimmy Fox voicing them, but they're just like cursing the whole time.
do you ever listen to these interviews with major stars, Mike, and they admit they know they're doing a really bad movie in the middle of it?
Yeah, sometimes they're like, yeah, it's a paycheck. It's becoming
I get
more frequent now. They'll talk about like, yeah, I took that just to make money off of it.
Like, can you imagine, like, you dedicate, and then you're in the middle of a movie you thought was going to be great, and you're like, man, this sucks. And then you just got to keep doing or do promo for a movie that's terrible.
Like Dakota Johnson for Madam Web, it just came out. She's like, I had no idea if the movie was good or not. I was in front of a blue screen the entire time. It felt so weird. And then she drugged the movie after it did terribly.
So she did the movie, it didn't do well, and then she made fun of the movie.
Yeah. Sydney Sweeney, too. She was in that movie. She's like, yeah, not doing a superhero movie ever again.
Was that Marvel?
It was the Sony side of Marvel. So there's the good.
I don't know.
There's the good DC Marvel that's
Yeah.
all like the Avenger stuff, and then there's the Sony
Wait,
side.
you're telling me there's a side of Marvel that's even bad?
Yeah. All the ones that just tank at the box office, like Morbius, they're a different side of Marvel.
I've never heard of Morbius.
But
What about the Hispanic dude who was like the
Blue Beetle?
yeah, he's like the Hispanic superhero. How'd that do?
Who was that?
it didn't do so well at the time the strike was going on, so they didn't promote it a whole lot, but it's still a good movie. But DC, yeah, kind of does the historically bad movies.
What's good so far this year? Any good movies?
So far, I just watched the new Godzilla. I think you would like that one just because it's big, dumb, fun action.
Mm-hmm.
So far, there hasn't been a great movie.
Is it a slow time, like January to April?
Yeah, everything's ramping up right now as we get to summer blockbuster stuff. I'm waiting on the new Deadpool movie.
Oh, that'd be fun because Wolverine's in it.
Yeah.
All right, check out Movie Mike's movie podcast. And if the movie sucks, just leave. You've already spent the money. Why spend the money and then also feel terrible?
It's tough, man. We already paid for that.
No, I
Can
know.
you
but
get your money back? Can you go to the box office and say, I need my money back?
You can't get
can
your
you,
money
Mike?
back.
If the movie's bad, can you leave and get a
I think in
refund?
the first 30 minutes they'll give you a
Yeah.
refund, depending on the theater.
So set your timer for 20. At 29 minutes, you run out.